everybody? Gorbachev here with my man Kman. Say what up.
Going on? How you doing?
Uh, Here for a nice Week 9 discussion. Some big games this week, and want to break them down and get it to you. So, without further ado, I wanted to touch on. We'll start with the Oakland Niners game last night. I know Kman had a few words on that, didn't you?
Yeah, game of the year there. Two of the best teams in the league, right?
Yeah.
But that was really, for being two of the worst teams, Oakland really showed me something there.
What'd they show you?
That was bad. That was really embarrassing. They really want that number one pick, I guess, because I don't know. They might not feel great about that John Gruden contract right now. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Sounds like you bet the Raiders last night, huh?
I did not bet on either side, but
Nah.
it was a pretty ugly game.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of it, but
I didn't either. I just looked at the score, and that's
it's
what I'm going
amazing
with.
how shitty Derek Carr is, huh?
Yeah, I guess undrafted rookies are better than him. Huh?
Dude, I like Nick Mullins, and I tweeted Evan Silva and said Nick Mullins is going to be legit. Played with Ito Smith at Southern Miss.
When did you say this?
Before the game yesterday, I tweeted at him. You could find it on the Twitter sphere. And their head coach was actually Todd Monken, who's the OC for the Bucks right now.
Okay.
So they have a lot of. And he played 4 years, threw for like 4,000 yards every year. He was legit.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't really see much of him in college, but that doesn't translate always. Like, there are plenty of guys that have great careers at like middle tier D1 schools that you never even.
Yeah, but these days it's very rare to get a guy who's there for 4 years and is like throwing for 3,500, 4,000 yards every single year. Like Luke Falk, though.
Like it's that says something that he obviously didn't like. I don't think, based on one game against probably the worst defense in the league, I'm not overly sold. Let's see him do it again, maybe again and again, and then maybe I'll start to say something. But I'm not really taking much of anything from them dismantling a pathetic Oakland team. That's really, we shouldn't not go too much more into this game. We have a lot to cover, and that game's an abomination. So let's move along. Unless you have anything you want to add.
No. All right. Let's start with the Pittsburgh at Baltimore.
Yeah, a nice rivalry game.
Yeah, a little AFC North. I had Baltimore 1.5 point underdog.
At home. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. I had Baltimore minus 2.5.
What?
And that's the line. So it makes sense. I think it was 3 when I first looked, so I was just a little off, but then moved down to 2.5. Baltimore, they always play competitive. Like, those two teams to me are very even. And then usually the home team gets a couple points, and I figured Pitt's playing a little better, so I'll just bump it down and just that extra notch to not give the hook, or to give the hook the other way. So, yeah, I think that's a reasonable line. I guess you seem to think Pitt's playing a little better right now, but Baltimore already beat them in Pitt this year, so they obviously they're not scared of them. They play them well every time.
Yeah, I think I was factoring in the recency bias and
No,
how
they
bad Baltimore looked at Carolina, and I feel like Pittsburgh just seems like their offense has been better this year.
You're definitely right lately. For sure, Pitt's playing a lot better than Baltimore, but if you had talked 3 weeks ago, Baltimore was playing a lot better than Pitt. So just overall, though, I think they're relatively even, but I guess Pitt could be viewed a little better, especially right now.
Well, initially I was going to say it's a pick'em, and then I figured everyone would smash Pittsburgh at a pick'em, so I made Baltimore.
Smash them at 2.5.
I made Baltimore a slight dog. That's where my thinking came.
Yeah.
To try to get people to take Baltimore, but I think at a 2.5 point underdog, everyone's gonna love the Steelers there.
Yeah, it's hard not to. I guess that's why I thought it would be a little under 3, because I thought if you're getting a full field goal, that's like everyone in the world is going to be on Pittsburgh. But at thought trying to bump it down, maybe it'll be a little closer. But again, you're right. I agree that I feel like people will like Pitt here, but just getting a few points in a game that's usually a 50-50 and a team that's playing a little better. It seems to me. I agree that I think Pitt seems like a smarter, obvious play. But again, I feel like everyone's going to say that, so I'm not sure how confident I feel in it.
What's the over? I feel like it's a high scoring. It's going to be a higher number. I think that's probably a safer play. I think both Flacco's going to rebound, and
what do you think it is?
Probably 53.5, 54.
No, it's much lower.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 47. So that's shocking. Yeah, I know, because especially Baltimore does have a good D, but I mean Pitt's D hasn't played well all year, and both offenses have been like pretty high shooting, like passing, high flying offenses. So.
Well, the thing is, Baltimore has no run game, so I feel like they have to throw it a bunch.
Yeah, but that's always been like I feel like that's kind of always been them.
The problem with the over is that the Steelers' defense might come in like pretty motivated because the comments Flacco made about how they like suck and that it wasn't a tough game or whatever the first time they played.
But they always talk shit to each other. Like this is like a big rivalry in general, and usually those games are kind of more grinded out. So I mean, it's just shockingly low to me. So like, I don't know. Over seems kind of obvious again. So, but again, I don't know. In the rivalry games, it's a little tougher. Everything's a little closer. Everything's a little tighter. So
you also got weather. It could be a shitty rainy day. So that's something worth looking into.
Not too much right now because we don't even know what it's going to be in a couple days.
All right, let's go to the next game. Chicago at Buffalo.
Yeah. Buffalo's a weird one. What did you? I had Buffalo plus 7.
7. I gave him 10, double digits.
Yeah, it's 10. You're right.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, there's not really that much to say about this game. I think it's.
I agree.
A decent offense versus. Oh, Nate Peterman's starting.
I don't care who's starting. I think Josh Allen's the only one on the team that I think gives them like any kind of chance, even though I don't even love him. But at least he's like something that like I have like questionable upside that like you some like unexpected qualities as opposed to like what I'm getting with the Anderson and Peterman. But
hey, maybe
again, I said 7 just because Buffalo, they have a tough D. I don't think Trubisky's amazing by any means, and they're at home. So, like, Chicago giving double digits, if not for the quarterback thing, I think Buffalo would be a good idea. But with the quarterback, I'd rather not even deal with it, to be honest, with how bad Peterman's looked in the NFL.
I could see that. But the other thing is maybe Pryor comes in and he's actually good, gives them a nice offensive weapon. Yeah, they just signed him.
Yeah. But, like, is he going to play? I don't even know.
I don't know, but the other thing I was going to say was that the Bills maybe they were covering most of that Patriots game, I think, until that 84-yard pick six, right? They were within.
They honestly a few
times.
Was
it a 14-point spread?
Yeah, it was 13.5, 14, and they Buffalo didn't cover, but it was close for a while until the end. Yeah.
Well, with the spread, they were covering. I think it was 18
it was 20,
to 6.
It ended up like 25. They didn't cover, but it was close until the end. You're right.
Yeah. That pick six happened with like 5 minutes left, so.
Yeah.
They were driving. They were in like the red zone.
Their defense is, I'd say, even average to slightly, maybe even underrated a little. It's a solid day.
Buffalo's is, right?
That's why I feel like they're always a little, because obviously their offense and their quarterback's a joke. So that obviously hurts a lot. But to me, I feel like 10 points is a lot for them. But again, the quarterback, I wish Josh Allen was starting. Not that he's a proven thing anyways, but if he was, like, 10 points at home, it's hard not to. But again, with that quarterback, I'm not in love with the pick. But that would be my lean if I had to.
Yeah, but then if Josh Allen was starting, the line would probably be like 8 or something.
I mean, I guess, but he hasn't shown it much. I guess he had one decent game, but I don't know how much he's worth yet. But you're right, maybe it would change a little.
Yeah. Not in love with either of those sides. as of
I
yet.
agree.
What's next?
I think we had Tampa Bay at Carolina.
What was your line?
I had Carolina minus 7.5.
What? Either I'm crazy or you're crazy because I said Carolina was given 4.5.
It's literally split the difference. It was 6.5. Now it's 6. So we were like both a little bit We're both a little crazy, I guess.
Why did you think it would be 7.5?
I just don't think Tampa's very good. After their really good start, I have not. Their defense is besides Oakland, probably one of the worst defenses in the league. Who's starting at quarterback? Fitzpatrick again now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously better than Jameis, but he's he'll have those games where you're like, oh, how the hell is he doing this? But he's also had plenty of bad ones. They benched him because he was terrible too. So he's not a sure thing by any means either. And I just think Carolina's been quietly good. Like they don't get any respect, and they keep winning games, and they're at home. So I guess I was a little higher, like a little too high on it, because I guess at 7.5 I definitely wouldn't like them. But I just figured maybe they should be around. They're definitely better, and they're at home. That's kind of what my thinking was there.
I mean, Tampa's been in most games, and they did have a pretty awesome comeback against the Bengals. They held them to like one first down in the second half until the last
Okay, so
couple
you're going
minutes.
to say their defense is good? Did you watch the
No.
rest of the game? They literally could not do it was a joke what they were doing out there.
I don't know. Maybe getting Fitz
honestly,
back is going to be good for them. It's a divisional game.
I think Cincinnati got complacent, and they thought it was over, and they just stopped. Like they just pretty much took the foot off the pedal. Like there's more in Cincy than Tampa, but obviously, and they didn't game plan for Fitzpatrick. It was a weird situation. Like now, obviously, completely different. Like Fitzpatrick's in there starting again. I just don't think Tampa's very good, honestly. I don't have a lean really. But, I mean, I think Carolina's definitely underratedly good, and they're at home there, so...
It's a divisional game. I think it's a good line, though. 6 is... to make sense, that line.
I think it's right. I think it makes sense, too. Like, I think we were both the teeny bit off, and, because I think you like Tampa a little bit. Like, I think you kind of like Tampa in general, mostly, and I don't really. So I think it was a little more of our bias, like, each way for us.
I'm
in the middle.
Generally a Tampa fan. I think they are pretty good, but they just don't put it all together, like all parts of the game, defense, offense, special teams. They just can't put a full game together. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 3-point game with like 2 minutes left. You know, the Panthers-Tampa game this
week. It could be, but you think they have a good defense? I think their defense.
No, I don't think they have a good defense. I think they played well the second half in the Bengals game, but.
You can't take when a team's up 30. Like it's a different game. Like teams get complacent. Like that you can't only like you have to take the whole game into account. They were really terrible for a lot of that game. So unless you think like, oh wow, they figured something out in the second half, and now they're actually somewhat.
No, and they lost like a bunch of their linebackers and whatnot.
Well,
they're
that makes
down
them
a lot
worse.
of men.
Their
best cornerback is Brent Grimes. Like
yeah, no, I just think I don't like.
should go off.
I think their D sucks. I think they have no running game, so they're just all they are an aerial attack with. They do. I will say they have a solid receiving corps, but I just don't.
Yeah, great weapons.
Yeah, but only receiving. They cannot run the ball for the life of them.
The Panthers could win 31-10, or it could be like a 28-27 game in the last.
I agree. It could be close divisionally, but I just think Carolina's definitely better, and they're at home. Again, I don't have much of a lean on the game, but I think I get why we were both a little bit off in each direction there.
Yeah. What? So next we got the big one, Chiefs at Browns.
Why is this the big one? Because you're a big
Baker, my boy. Baker and Patty Mahomes going off the first time.
It's like you think it'll be as like their college matchup.
2016. It was 66-59. It
was like the highest scoring air raid in the history of
They threw each one of them threw for 700 yards and 6 touchdowns. The other one threw 600 yards and 7 touchdowns or something crazy.
Yep.
But I had the Chiefs. The Browns are at home, right?
Yes.
I had them getting 8.5.
I had them getting 7.5, and it's 8. So we're both right in the ballpark there.
Split the difference again, so it's 8, huh?
Yep. I mean, when I did 7.5, I was a little like because Cleveland's playing terribly right now, and Casey's playing great. So I was kind of I wasn't shocked that it's a little bit higher. But again, I don't think Cleveland's terrible. It's tough changing completely dismantling your coaching staff in the middle of the season like that. But I like their actual talent. Like I think they have solid talent on both sides of the ball, Browns. But they never put it they still haven't been able to put it together. So I don't have much of a lean on this game either. What do you think about it?
I mean, it's so hard to fade the Chiefs in any
I know
game
their
right
offense
now.
is
It's pretty
ridiculous.
impossible. But who's their interim head coach? Greg Williams?
Yeah, I think so. And they have their core. Yeah, I think. Let me check.
Because Greg Williams.
Yeah, Greg Williams. I don't know who else. He's the only guy.
Haley's got fired, right?
Haley and Hugh got fired, so it has to be Greg Williams.
They don't have a bad offense. But the thing is, the Chiefs
they also don't have a bad defense either. They have guys like Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, a lot of good young players. I don't hate their defense either. Jabril Peppers, they got some good talent on defense.
Yeah, Peppers is sick.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I don't trust them obviously because they're a joke of a franchise. But if you ignore the Browns' name, they have talented players. They just haven't been able to. They had a little stretch there where they started to look like a competent football team, but they just couldn't close out games.
I think basically they have enough offense to stay in the game, and Baker's good enough to make the throws. And I think playing such a high level of talent is going to bring out the best in Landry and Njoku and Baker, and maybe Duke Johnson finally gets involved. I think they can keep up with the Chiefs. There's no reason why they can't. And
it's tough with changing.
And Nick Chubb, they're gonna probably run a lot. Keep Mahomes off the field.
I mean, I guess it can't be worse than Hugh Jackson, but it's tough to completely change gears like that. But I agree with I think they have enough talent, but I don't really like either side in this.
I wouldn't say I'm trying to fade the Chiefs. I would make it like it's a play on the Browns because I think they have enough firepower and a good enough quarterback to stay in the game till the end, and maybe it's a 3 or 4 point game when it's all said and done. I think it's getting 8 points is a nice wager.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't have I'm not going to pick a side. I don't have a strong enough lean, but I agree with the talents there for Cleveland. But let's see him actually put it together for a little before I start trusting him again.
One bill play. All right. AFC East Divisional. Jets at Dolphins.
Yeah. Gross.
Great game.
You say so.
I had Miami's at home. I had here Miami laying a field goal, -3.
Yeah, I had Miami -2.5, and it's 2.5.
It's 2.5.
Yeah, and we were both right in the ballpark. It's a pretty much. I think it's relatively mostly a toss-up, and you got to give the home team a couple points. But I think the Jets are playing a little bit better than Miami right now, so that's why I bumped it down slightly.
Miami's so banged up now. They have their leading receivers, Jakeem Grant. Parker had a good game.
They
right?
don't have any receivers anyway.
Devontae Parker finally stepped up.
Who? Devontae Parker?
Yeah.
What did he do?
Devontae Parker had 9 catches for 120 yards in the game.
Yeah, he's hurt?
Against the Texans. No, he's the only one not hurt now between Stills and Albert Wilson.
Grant's their number 1 receiver or something. So I guess you don't. Devontae Parker has never proven to me he's remote. I guess he had a flash last game, but
right.
I still wouldn't trust him at all. I think they're offensively. No, Brock Osweiler, their quarterback, who I guess he's played pretty well for them, surprisingly, but I also wouldn't trust him. Drake and Gore split. I guess they had a good game against the Texans, but haven't been good all year.
What's the total on the game? I feel like it's low, in the low 40s.
Yeah, 43.5. Because these have been pretty solid this year. I think the Jets are quietly underrated on defense.
I like the Jets D, but this game feels like one of those games where you'll be it's like shitty offenses, like easy under, and then it like shadily goes
It
like
could.
a
I
hugely
don't
high
like.
scoring game somehow.
Yeah, it could be. What about some? I got an angle you'll probably like that I think's stupid, but
What, revenge?
no, that would be one. But it's Miami, and it's Saturday night in Miami for the Jets.
Oh, true. Well, you got to look at the rest of their season. This is like obviously their only trip to Miami, but have they been in any good like party cities before
I don't
tonight?
know. Miami's a fun one, so that was what I mean. That's a jib nice Gorbachev angle there.
Yeah, they might. They'll definitely be going out hard Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah, if they do that.
So kind
I
of like
mean,
the Vegas hangover, but it's
did
Miami.
did I make a pick for you on that by giving you that?
Well, you actually just screwed me up because I was actually leaning towards the Jets. I thought they were gonna destroy Osweiler, but now you have me rethinking that. So thank you.
I mean, I think the Jets are a little bit better personally.
Right.
If I had to take something, I'd probably take the Jets, but I don't feel strong.
Yeah, probably a good stay away. Maybe
Yeah.
take the over for fun.
Yeah, I think I got a few games I actually do like coming up, so we don't have to be so blindly undecided on everything.
All right, what do you got?
Next one we got here, Detroit at Minnesota.
I'll start. I had Vikings laying 5.
Yeah, yeah, I had them -8, and I was thinking even higher, maybe 8.5. But
Wow.
yeah, it's 5.5. I think Minnesota's just a lot better in every aspect than Detroit. So I mean, I think this is an easy pick.
That's
I don't even need to talk. Like
that's a weird number. Like I kind of had a feeling it was going to be weird because the Vikings haven't been playing that well.
no, Minnesota. I know they
But
haven't played
Detroit's
great.
really shitty. Like they suck.
They've had a tough. Minnesota's had a decently tough schedule, but I think at home against, I don't think Detroit's good at all. I
Well,
think
there's
Minnesota's better on every aspect, and I think Minnesota wins by pretty comfortably, easily by over a touchdown. So that one's an easy pick to me. I'm shocked it's so low, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think
So
over
on
touchdown.
the ESPN bottom line, they have these little random stats, and one of them was Detroit has won 3 out of 4 against the last 3 out of 4 against the Vikings.
Wow.
And I think those little tidbits they show on ESPN actually factor into how they make the line because public perception is like Detroit plays the Vikings pretty well. So
Yeah, I mean,
maybe the
games
line has
generally
come down
closer.
from like they wanted to open it at 7, but then they were going to anticipate a lot of Detroit money, so they lowered it to 5 or something. But
Yeah, either way, do you disagree that Minnesota in almost every aspect is better?
no, I agree. But
Yeah.
are
I
they?
know what you're saying about the point, but I don't see any reason to take Detroit at all. Like I couldn't imagine someone taking Detroit. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think Minnesota's an easy play. Like
Yeah.
at home too. Like they need a win pretty badly. Like they need to step it up at this point. And I think they were obviously one of the big Super Bowl contender coming into the season. So they really need to step up now.
Yeah, I could see that. I always hesitate when I lay points, so that's not usually my style. So I
You've been
can't like
saying
jump
people
on
don't
it.
do but just that one seems too low to me. I mean, just to me that seems shockingly low.
Still Stafford though, and they still have a
I know,
decent
but
offense.
Stafford's
And
all-
Carry
I
on
don't
Johnson.
think they traded Tate, dude. That's a huge. They lost Tate. Like what? They don't have. They have Marvin Jones and Galladay, but that's it. Like Carry on Johnson's been up and down. Like he's had some good games,
He's
but
pretty good,
their offense is okay. Their defense not very good.
right? And Patricia's a defensive guy, so
Yeah, I mean they're weird. They've been all over the place. They have win against the Patriots, and they just dismantled at home like pretty badly. They lost pretty bad to the Seahawks there, so they're tough. Detroit is tough to read, but I just think Minnesota's a lot better.
yeah, I could see that being a play. Probably good throwing the 5-0 or whatnot.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So next, I got Atlanta at
This
Washington.
one I think could be a weird one line wise. Say it again.
Atlanta at Washington.
Yeah, I said Washington is going to be a 1.5 underdog. What about you?
I had Washington -2.5 at home. Like I figured. So I was thinking.
That's interesting. Okay.
Well, So Washington's played like they keep winning games. Like you
Well,
can't
what's
deny
the
it.
actual line first?
The line is Washington -2.
Okay, so they're actually favored.
Yeah, so I mean, this is what my thought is. They're at home, so usually if it's a toss up, you'd say home team minus like 2.5, 3. Um, I just think, I mean, Atlanta. If you ignored like records, people like Atlanta was like supposed to be good coming in, but obviously their defense isn't very good, and Washington's quietly played an overall like well-rounded game all season. They keep winning games. I really can't deny that. So, I mean,
They also have a
it's a little
legit D.
sketchy,
Their
honestly.
defense is legit.
Who? Their day?
Washington's D is great.
It's been very solid.
It's been really good. They're opening their O line is like creating holes for AP.
Yeah, AP's
Who's
playing
having
great.
a resurgence. I think their last three rushers that faced them, they've held to like under 40 yards or something ridiculous. Like their D, and they just added Clinton Dix from the Packers. And Matt Ryan just usually sucks outside or not at home. So I
Isn't that sketchy to you then? Like to me, it's like Washington's playing great. Atlanta's good offensively, but defensively really bad. It's shockingly low. Like I thought it should be like. I honestly thought it was going to be higher than 2.5. I just don't love. I honestly like. I feel like Washington's kind of playing a little over themselves right now. That's why I bumped it a little bit. But to me, if you're going by how the year's gone in the last few weeks at least, and maybe even the whole year, Washington's been the better team, and they're at home. It could probably be 3.5. Should be like they're playing better than the 3
no,
points.
it couldn't be 3.5. They don't have any receivers left. They're all banged up, and that would be way too high.
They also, I think Chris
too-
Thompson's also out.
That would be probably too much love for them. But the thing is
Well, I
that
mean,
you have going
like,
for you at home, Alex Smith just doesn't make any turnovers or throw any picks. So I would feel pretty comfortable with the Skins just grinding it out, having like keeping Matt Ryan off the field, and just like 23-17 victory, kind of like how they did to Cam.
But do you disagree? Ignoring like just looking at overall for this season, Washington's been like noticeably better than
Yes,
Atlanta.
agree.
So that to me, ignoring everything else, you're right. The injuries, I do. You have to factor that in a little. They do have a lot of
I don't
people.
think wait, hold on. I don't think they've been noticeably better than the Falcons. The Falcons have been pretty good in their own right.
No, they haven't. What are you talking about? What are they? 2-5?
Are they 2-5?
What's the record?
2-4?
Honestly, I don't remember. I have to check.
Are they 2-4?
I'll look right now. But their defense has been atrocious. Their offense has. They've gotten a lot. They've had a lot of high scoring games because their offense is. They're 3-4 now. They won a few games last.
They're 3-4, but they've played a hard schedule. Like right, they played the Saints and the Panthers. No?
I mean, dude, the last 2 games they won barely beat the Bucks and the Giants at home. Those are two not good teams in my opinion. I'm not impressed with how they played this year. I thought Atlanta was going to be better coming into this year than they played, and I really don't like Washington. I actually have the Eagles to win the division, so I'm kind of hoping Washington loses here. But to me, Washington's clearly been better than Atlanta, so it's kind of weird to me. I don't have a lean again because I hope Washington.
That's the thing, though. Their public perception with the Falcons is like just as you and I just thought. Their record's 3-4, but people would definitely, if they didn't see the record, they could be like, "Oh, the Falcons, they have a great offense. They're probably 5-2."
And coming into the year, before the year, if you had asked what the line would be, everyone thought Atlanta was going to be really good, solid on D, good on offense, and people thought Washington would be mediocre. So, like, if you're just going based on like the name, like the expectation, Atlanta should be maybe even favored in that.
I think instead of it's not shady that it's such a low number. I think it's Vegas is being slow to adjust, and maybe they're still a little hesitant to believe that the Redskins are as legit as they actually are. So
I don't mind that because
that's where I would say I would take the Redskins there. Like I would.
I'm also like in wait and see mode on Washington. They've won games, but I haven't been impressed with them honestly. Like somehow they keep winning, but I just don't trust them completely. Their D has been solid, and they can run the ball really well. So
right, you've Jay Gruden, who the fuck trusts that guy, and Alex Smith and no receivers, so it's like a little scary to lay points with a team like that. That's why I was thinking maybe they'd be an underdog, but against Matt Ryan and a legit offense. But I don't know.
Like what, Washington?
I would probably lean towards Washington there, yeah.
Even though you had Atlanta favored.
Yeah.
All right, I don't love that game. I kind of hope Atlanta
Tough
wins,
one.
but if I had to pick it, I agree. I'd probably go Washington, but I think Atlanta has a good shot. I think Atlanta, even though they've just barely won against some bad teams. You still have that hope that they can play you think they can be better than they played. It's like one of those like you have faith in them even though they haven't shown it kind of thing. I feel like publicly that's what I feel like people think.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I think let's. This one's another one I was way off on coming up here. So Houston at Denver.
What'd you think?
I had Houston -3.
Houston -3.
Yeah, so Denver
okay.
+3 at home.
+3. I was kind of in line with you. I had Denver +2 at home.
Yeah. So Denver's favored by 1, which.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Houston's played a lot better because remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about how pathetic they were. They barely won 2 overtime games.
They ripped off 5 in a row, right?
And we said they have so much talent on paper and they just can't put it together.
Yeah.
They're starting. They look good. Their defense looks really good. They got obviously Hopkins as one of the best receivers in the game. Lamar Miller's even playing better. I just think overall as a team they're playing great, and I'm shocked. I think Houston's a good play as a dog. I'd take the money line in this game. They're playing very well, and I'm just kind of shocked by that line to be honest.
Maybe they're just due to lay a dud or something.
I mean, but I mean, also Denver just trade Houston their best receiver. They just gave him a receiver too.
It wasn't the best receiver. Sanders is the best receiver. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Denver's D hasn't been playing this as well as they usually do.
That's another reason.
But they do normally play pretty well at home, and usually are able to shut people down there. But
they haven't been good this year. Like I agree. If they had been like the Denver D of old, I think they'd be like a nice upset candidate at home against a team playing well. But I just feel like they're kind of they're not really. They don't. I feel like they're kind of not giving up on the season, but obviously they're sellers at the trade deadline there, and Houston's playing pretty well. It seems kind of a little off to me that Denver's favored here, but I guess it is a little sketchy to me also that it's like that. But I think still I'd take Houston.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Houston's just a little better.
I would definitely lean Houston, but I don't think I would pick this. Like, I would stay far away from this game. It just seems really weird. And Denver at home, I don't like to fade that. And who knows? Deshaun Jackson might have a good game. He could throw 3 interceptions. Philip Lindsay might go off.
You said Deshaun Jackson. Who'd you say would have a good
Watson.
game?
Deshaun Watson could have a bad game. Maybe Case Keenum has the game of his life. It's just like, yeah. I mean, if the Texans were getting like 2.5 or 3, I would be like, yeah, definitely take Houston. But what are they getting, a point?
Yeah. I guess.
I don't know if the value's there for me.
I'm looking at the last few weeks, and they have played a little better. They lost to the Chiefs in Kansas City by a touchdown. That's not terrible, even though I don't think they're really ever going to win that game. And they killed the Cardinals.
They got a backdoor score to keep that one closer.
Everyone kills the Cardinals. They beat the Rams, or lost to the Rams at home by a field goal, so that was kind of close. They've been playing a little better, but I still think I take Houston as a dog here. I think they're a little better. I don't think it's like. It is a little sketchy, so I'm not saying it's like the play of the year or play of the week, but I would take it.
Half bill? Half unit? 50 burger?
Put a unit on it.
Alright, what's next? Chargers at Seahawks.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Good game. Kind of
Close game, tight game.
Underratedly good game in a slate of good games.
All the 4s are close spreads and decent enough and good teams. All the 4 o'clock games are very good.
Yeah, Denver's at 4 o'clock, right? Yeah.
Houston, Denver, Chargers, Seahawks, and Rams, Saints. Great slate at 4.
All right, I actually set this one as a pick 'em.
I had to pick them as well.
Really?
Yep.
What's the actual line?
Seattle +1.
+1?
So I mean, it's right.
It's right there.
Right there. Yeah. I mean, it is. It's a complete toss-up. Like I think the Chargers are a little better, and they're off a bye, but Seahawks play decently well at home, and they're playing better in general. Seattle, so it's a good game. You have a lean or anything? You lean on it?
I like Seattle. I think they're just putting it together. They're looking better. I
They're
think
playing better.
their D's looking good again. Frank Clark is a freaking animal.
Very good,
He's really good. David
yeah.
Moore's playing well. Their receivers are actually getting separation.
They're like
Um,
I don't even. David Moore is their number, and Lockett are their two top receivers. Baldwin's a joke. He doesn't even like. I don't even know what he does. Is he even like he just decoy out there at this point with his knee injury? He's not doing anything.
yeah, maybe. I heard somewhere on another podcast. I forgot who it was, but they changed their whole offense. Like Russell Wilson is averaging 10 yards of a game of rushing yards.
Yeah,
So
no, he, so
he's
yeah, no,
passing, dropping back and passing all the time now.
no. So from last year, Russell Wilson scrambled and threw the ball nonstop in the past. This year, not really scrambling,
Yeah.
and they're pounding the ball. They've run the ball great. They have the number one, like they run the ball more than any team in the NFL. Like they have the highest running, rush percentage offensively. So they're very, and their offensive line went from being terrible to solid to
It, like,
maybe
came
even
together,
above
yeah.
average on running.
Is Melvin Gordon playing?
I think so. I think it was more precautionary when they held him out because they had the bye coming. So I'd be shocked if he didn't play. But I'd have to double check.
I think
Pretty
that's
sure he's gonna
kind
play.
of an important thing. Like,
Of course, but I'm pretty sure
like he could move the line probably a point and a half.
Yeah, I could do that, but I think everyone's under the impression that he's going to play. He was a full participant in practice Friday. He's questionable, but they seem to think he's going to play.
Yeah, I don't know. I also think I've been seeing teams off a bye this year. I might be wrong. They seem to be come out a little slower, flatter.
But would you say that's overall like?
I don't know if that's just like this year or just like some trend that's always like the common conception is kind of counterintuitive because most people think, oh, off a bye they're going to be well rested, come out and like fucking crush it, but
Andy Reid off a bye is like a sure thing in NFL.
Right, but I think teams like one of the teams was like the Bears against the Dolphins. They're so sluggish that first half. They were down 7-3 or 7-0. Like a bunch of teams I just remember seeing are coming out of byes and just like looking sluggish or really soaking up that week off and like going crazy partying or whatever it is. Or maybe that was just because the Bears were in Miami. I don't know. It was awful off the bye. Two variables there. I don't know.
No, but I would just say look into it. Like, I don't think that's something I'd attribute to every team. I think it also depends on like the coach. Like again, with Andy Reid, I'd still trust him this year to be good off a bye. He always prepares well, especially with more time. Bill Belichick, I trust.
Are you a big Anthony Lynn guy?
He's all right. I'm like pretty indifferent about him. I think they have a talented team, so
yeah. I mean, I'd take Pete Carroll and Russell Westbrook getting a point at home. Over
I
Anthony
can see that. I don't have a strong lean just because I really do think it's a complete toss up. That's the line I had, and I think that's
a tough game.
I think
good
it's for
game,
a reason. It is a very good game, but yeah, I don't have much of a lean.
That could be a higher scoring game, maybe.
Which game? The Seahawks game? It is 47.5.
I was gonna guess 48.
Yeah, so you're there.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Yeah, good game. So a good, like I said, good 4 o'clock slate. The last one in the fours, we got Rams at Saints, probably the best game of the week.
Second best after the Chiefs Browns, I think.
Well, what about the night game, Green Bay New England?
All right, true. That's a good one too. Yeah, this is probably going to be a pick-em. I said the Saints are going to be -1 at home.
I had pick-em again. Another pick-em. I think it's a complete. I think the Rams are obviously you can't. The Rams are playing great, but the Saints are probably the second best team in the NFC
Before you
right
say the line, my logic for that was there's just no way you can make. I don't care who they're playing. You can't make the Saints a dog at home. Like you just can't do that. And if you tell me they're a dog, I would say you gotta fuck the Rams. You gotta take them. What's the line?
I will tell you the line is Saints +2.
What?
And I will say when I looked a couple days ago, it was Saints -2. So I think everyone's on the right.
So this thing has moved 4 points. You're telling me?
Unless I read it wrong the first time, I think I saw -2. but maybe
I
it's
think
right now.
I think you read that wrong because I don't think Cooper Kupp is moving a line 4 points, to be honest.
Yeah, but either way, I think it's right around a pick. Like, it's no way it's going. I don't think it's going any higher than that. It's going to be in that range because it is a toss-up game. I mean, you got the Rams, best team in the league right now, and you got the Saints at home, which is another one of the better teams again. So
I feel like
someone
such a sucker move. Like I know you're not people don't know may or may not know this. You're not supposed to tease a line through 0. So like
yeah,
you're not
it's a
supposed
win-win.
to
You're
take
losing point. Yes,
you're not
for
supposed
sure.
to take the Rams -2 and make them +4 in a 6-point teaser.
I'd
But
rather do
like
the
that
Saints
seems like the
because
biggest suckers play this week to put the Rams in a teaser.
I'd do the Saints in a teaser. I'd rather
Yeah,
actually.
I would definitely put the Saints in a teaser and get
I'd
them
rather the other
+8.
way.
That's a great pick.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess you like the Saints +2.
Yeah, absolutely. Love them.
I think I agree. I think at some point the Rams are going to have to just lose a game, and I think they're great, but I think they have shown a couple, like, they still are the best team, but I don't think they're like an undefeated team or anything like that. So I think they'll lose some games, and this is one of the opportunities they could lose. The Saints are a very solid team overall, so yeah, I agree. I'd take the Saints at home +2. It's hard not to there.
It's very easy to keep going broke, fading the Rams, but
Yeah. I mean, no,
they-
I was right. I
they
had the
gotta
Packers
lose
this week.
sometime, and why not at the Rams? I mean, at the Saints this week.
Yeah, we didn't do a podcast last week, but I liked Green Bay a lot. It was just 9.5 or something. So it moved down to 7.5, but it was started at 9.5 for a while.
Right.
That was too many points. Like, I think the Rams are better, but you give me Rodgers, he'll keep it a game, which he did. And the Timo tried to give the cover back, but they managed. Gurley said, "No, I feel bad. I'll sit down." So that was a good game. Tough for
Yeah,
bettors.
true.
Both ways.
I didn't even think about that. Well, that actually brings me to the next game, what you were just talking about, the Packers-Rams. So, next game is this Sunday Night Football?
This is
Packers at New England.
yes.
So, I thought the Patriots, I put them at -4.5.
Wow.
Because I thought that, because of the logic from last week's game, clearly
Well-
Green Bay was mispriced at 9.5.
It was, but do you think the Rams are that much better than the Patriots? You can't.
Well, I think the Rams are definitely better than the Patriots, and I think Packers showed everyone that they can play much. You know, they were deserving of being a smaller underdog this week. So 9 was way too many.
I agree, but I think that it went the other way too much. I think.
Making the Patriots -7 is going to be too high. So
I agree.
4.5, 5. I figured. What about you?
You said 4.5. I
said 4.5.
Okay, I wanted to do 7, but I just thought it was too many for Rodgers, so I said 6.5.
What's the line?
It's 5.
Yeah, right in the Vegas zone. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
So I
Now,
think
even 6, dude. Even if you had it at 6.5, that would have been too many for Rodgers.
I don't know. I just think this
It's
is
not a
little
huge
low.
difference
It's
between
like-
6 and 7, really.
I think it's also a little adjusted the other way too much, just off of that other game. I think Green Bay as a team is not that great. I think Rodgers is great. Their receivers are all rookies, and Cobb sucks. So it's just Devontae Adams and a bunch of idiots. So they don't have anyone.
And Jimmy Graham. Don't forget Jimmy.
He's getting older, but he's solid. You're right. It's Devontae Adams, Graham, and then nothing.
I don't know, man. 5 is a good line, and the Packers have a really good defense. Their rookies are playing really well.
They don't have a really good defense.
I think they do. Like they're gonna.
I'll tell you, they played well. They played very well against the Rams for 3/4 of the game. Then they just got
the Rams are the Rams, and I think
Last half, really. They had a good defensive half. The first half, they really dominated the Rams. But they have not been that good this year. Green Bay, I don't think New England's D is that good either. But
Sony Michel's probably out. Gronk is banged up.
Michel's probably playing, but
is he?
I think I don't know. It's questionable. We'll see. What do you think the line is? The total.
The total. It's going to be high. I want to say it's like 57.5, 58?
Yeah, 56.5, I'd say.
56.5? Is that what it is?
I honestly think it might even go over. Like, I don't think either D is really going to stop the other one, but again.
Yeah, I see that. I see that over. Unless the Packers D actually steps up and plays well.
Yeah, but they only played well for a half even, and like they haven't really looked good all year.
You know,
Like,
but they have like Jair Alexander, Josh Jackson. Those guys are fully. They're big corners. Like they're 6'1", 6'2". Like they're fully capable of shutting down Edelman and staying with Gronk and taking out Josh Gordon maybe.
Kevin King is. I think they have solid secondary.
Kevin King too. Yeah, that's the third rookie cornerback they took.
They traded Clinton Dix, and they also defensively have not been that great this year. But I could see, obviously, I get why it's a lot lower after they mispriced them last week. But I also don't think it should be adjusted crazily low. I still think New England at home, like they're a very good team. I don't have a lean on this, to be honest. I was thinking New England, but I still like Rodgers in general, even though I don't love their team. I don't like their coaching or a lot of their players, but obviously Rodgers can do a lot. Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. So
yeah, I don't know. I like the Packers there. Getting 5. Should be a field goal game either way, late. I could even see the Packers being up by 10.
I'll say New England. I'm not going to say it strongly, but I lean New England on this.
Wow.
I just think it's over-adjusted. I feel like it's overcompensating for last week, honestly.
Fading your fucking boy Rodgers? I never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers is good. I think Belichick and Brady at home, and they're a tough team. And I don't think Green Bay is a team. Like I said, I don't think they're that great. What are they? 3-3-1? What's their record?
Something like that.
They have not been overly impressive, the Packers. If you take out Aaron Rodgers, they're not a good team. They're a very bad team. Yeah, they're 3-3-1. So I guess they also are desperate, but they have a tough stretch at Rams, at Patriots, and then Dolphins, and at Seahawks, at Vikings. So besides that Dolphins game, they have 4 brutal games. So
whose schedule was that?
The Packers, really brutal stretch here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't feel strongly about it, but slightly in New England. I don't even know if I.
They need to win more too. They're more desperate for a win than New England is.
Yeah, but New England also doesn't really. They still they never. Once they get rolling after the first month of the season, they've consistently dominated every year. It's hard. Remember, I mean,
Do you know?
I quit giving. I quit. I know.
Who won? I saw it on TV. I was watching the first quarter of the old game from 2014. It was the first time Rodgers played Brady. Do you know who won?
They only played once. Rodgers beat him.
Oh, Rodgers beat them? Oh, so the Patriots have revenge now, so I might have to switch my pick. No, I still like the Packers.
It's a great game, and I hope it's close, and I hope the Packers cover. I would love to see a close game, and I hope the Packers do cover. I like them a lot, but I just don't trust them this year. I don't think their team's great this year, so I think lead Patriots, but again, I don't love it.
I'm not a big teaser guy, but Saints-Packers seems like a nice teaser.
I agree. It's also, if you get actually, I don't want to go against New England, but I see your point.
That would make them, it would be Packers plus 11 and Saints plus 8.
How many points you get again?
You get 6, I think, on some of them, or some of them are 7. I don't know.
I
don't usually do teasers.
Give me mini in a teaser, so I'll take mini money line there, and I guess you'd go Saints. So mini Saints or mini Houston, something like that would be good for me if I had to do a teaser.
Well, Houston would be plus
7. They're 1, so plus 6 more.
Yeah. Okay.
7's good. I mean, unless you lose the tie, 7's a nice number.
Ties usually lose.
Damn it. Whatever. We'll see. I mean, those are some of my leans anyways that I was saying. So last game of the Monday night game.
Yeah, Monday night.
Tennessee at Dallas.
Great game.
I disagree, but if you say so.
No, I'm just messing. What I had Dallas -4.
I had Dallas -3. I just don't. I think honestly, I thought they were both very mediocre teams. I've seen them both have good games and bad games.
The Titans are still in the hunt for the AFC South.
Yeah.
They're what, 4-3, 3-4, 3-3.
I'll check, but I don't.
I'm not willing to give up on Mariota yet. I still think he's good.
You like Tennessee in general. You You like Variable. I remember they're 3-4.
Yeah, Vrabel's. I think he's great. They have Corey Davis, Tywan Taylor, maybe Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis get it going. I mean, Dallas has a great D though. They have a very good D, very
Tennessee,
underrated D this year. Very good.
They're very similar to me. These teams are very similar to me. So
Tennessee doesn't have a good D though.
I think they quietly both have solid Ds, not amazing. Maybe Dallas a little better, but I think they're both the average to maybe a little underrated D. And both quarterbacks that I just don't trust. They're athletic quarterbacks that I just don't really.
There's actually some fun matchups in that game because I'm curious how Amari Cooper does, and I'm curious to watch Malcolm Butler or Dory Jackson match up against him. So that could be fun to watch.
What did you have again? 4? 3?
I said Dallas -4. What's the actual line?
I had 3. It's 5, and it moved from 6.5. That was to me. I thought
it opened at Dallas -6.5, and now it's down to 5.
Yeah, I thought Dallas +6, or I thought Tennessee +6.5 was easy, just because I thought it's a toss-up, and that's a lot of points for a game that to me is pretty close. But now it's getting closer to lowering.
I mean, even with 5, I would take the Titans there, hands down.
I think it's close, but again, to me, it's also sketchy that it opened that high. Maybe Dallas plays a little bit better at home, and Tennessee's a little worse on the road, so I'm a little hesitant to take it, honestly.
Well, maybe because Dallas is still such a public draw, and they just get a lot of public money, and it's America's team still possibly, and they thought.
And I think Tennessee's a worse road team, so
that seems like the Vegas opened it, and they just took a shitload of Titans money and had to save their ass and moved it.
Yeah, so this is I agree. I think they opened it high, and everyone's like, this is close to even. I give you the points here, and it moved down quick. But if it gets low enough, I think Dallas at home is going to win this game. And I feel like it's going to be by more than a field goal. If 6.5, 7, I go Tennessee. But if it gets low enough, I just think Dallas is a little bit better. And I think I'm kind of just deciding this honestly right now on the spot. I think they just play a little better at home, and I think Tennessee is a little worse on the road. So.
Well, let me ask you, who do you think's better, Mariota or Dak Prescott? I think Mariota's better than Prescott, straight up.
I think they're both bad. I don't like either of them, honestly. I think maybe Mariota, but I think Zeke. I think the Dallas is a much better rushing team there. So, and I think the quarterbacks are close enough that's toss up. And then I think Dallas's D is slightly better too. So I guess overall, even though I don't like Dallas, I guess I think they're a little bit better. I think they're a little bit better version of the Titans. That's what I think they are.
Yeah.
I think they're a very similar type team.
But a little bit better may not cover 5.5.
I agree, but that's why I don't feel strongly about it. Because initially, when it was 6.5, I guess 3 obviously. So 6.5, I think I would have taken. It's hard not to take Tennessee, but that's what everyone seems to be thinking. So that's why it's moving down. So now I'm a little bit. I'm changing my mind a little bit here. I think Dallas wins by over a field goal, and 5 I'm a little scared to take, to be honest. But I think Dallas is going to win this game, and I think it'll be by more than a field goal. That's all I'll say about it.
All right, fair enough.
I don't have a strong lead.
So let's get out of here on this. Favorite underdog money lines of the week.
Ooh. Well, I mean, there's a cheap one. I love Houston, and they're +1. So I mean, that's like an easy
Houston.
one for me.
I'll say I would go with the Jets.
Oh, okay. The Saints too. You liked, I thought.
And Saints. Yeah, I like the Saints.
So yeah, Saints, Houston, and Jets. I agree. Those are 3 good dog money line dogs there.
What about Pittsburgh too? I think.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel like a lot of those are pretty public. Like Houston might be Pittsburgh just because you're getting points at a team that's playing a lot better.
Yeah.
But I agree.
What about under Survivor pick of the week? Who would you go with in the Survivor pool if you're still alive?
So everyone is going to take Chicago, but I wouldn't because everyone's on them. I'd take.
Maybe Minnesota. Maybe the Vikings this week.
Well, I love the Vikings. I think I'd be shocked if they lost.
Or based on what you were just saying, Dallas could be a shady pick.
I was about to say Mini or Dallas, just because you're trying to stay off of every popular pick. So I mean, and you don't have all the good teams left too. So Dallas would be a team that people have left too. So
I would feel a lot more comfortable with Minnesota than Dallas.
Of course, I agree. I think what's your pick? My pick of the week is probably Minnesota. I just think they're so much better than Detroit.
Oh, your pick of the week is Minnesota instead of Houston?
Well, Minnesota and Houston are my 2 big leans, but I just think Minnesota at home there I'd take, yeah.
My pick of the week would either be the Saints, the Packers, or the Browns.
Okay, and I mean, I can see the Saints. That's a great game. That's probably the game of the week. And then, yeah,
I'm a dog guy, bro. I'm a fucking dog guy for life. Well, dog pound and doggies, straight up. I won't be surprised when Packers beat the Patriots. I'll be a little surprised, but still could tell you I saw it coming when the Browns beat the Chiefs.
That would be impressive if they did. I don't think they will. They haven't like.
And I think the Saints could beat the Rams too. I think the Saints could beat the Rams.
I mean, they definitely could. It's a toss-up game. It's moved all over. It's back and forth, so it's kind of a toss-up. But yeah, it's a pretty good slate besides that Thursday game, which they got out of the way early. Thank God.
So, may not be that many. We don't really have that many upsets we're calling. I guess there's a couple of them.
No, I mean, there's a lot of close.
Like, is there any chance in hell, any way you see Detroit winning?
No.
Or Tampa winning?
I don't think so, but Carolina's a weird team, so I guess there's a possible chance. I could, if again, I said if Buffalo started Josh Allen, I think they had a shot, but I don't trust them with their quarterback situation now.
Nate Peterman, baby.
And then Pittsburgh. I mean, there's some dogs like Pittsburgh, Jets, Houston, Atlanta. I think and the Saints. I think any of those teams could win.
Yeah.
I think they're all very close spreads. They're all very close spreads.
Yeah. All right, good stuff, man. Well,
Yep.
We'll take it out of here on that. You know where to find us, Kman and Gorbachev.com. YouTube, search Kman and Gorbachev, NFL picks, NFL line guesses. And we'll see you next week. Our boys will see us out. Good stuff. Wait for it. Peace out, everyone. Have a good week. Good luck. Stomp your books.